That's true. Naked Palpatine.
Oh, you pick that one. Fresh out of the clone tank, nude Palpatine is my
Well, that's the first thing I think of when you say Dark Empire Palpatine.
It's always a fun time when we bring in Robert E. Howard. I have a few things for you. Before we jump into Robert E. Howard, I have just one short story, which is only a few pages, from the Dresden Files, Side Jobs, which is just a collection of short stories. And that one was called Vignette. And basically, all it is that Harry is kind of looking for a secretary, maybe, and Bob argues with him. That's it. It's so short, I don't want to spoil anything else. It's a fun little thing. But that's it. And that is why I decided to put this alongside this video, because there's no point in making that an entire video in of itself. So, in case anybody thinks I missed it, I didn't. It's right here. I've told you what I thought of it. It's fine. That's about it. I also have a bunch of fragments, basically stories that were not completed by Robert E. Howard for Solomon Kane before we get to the main title of this video. So first we have Rattle of Bones, which is kind of like this horror story. Basically, Solomon is in this black forest for all these like little fragment things, and he meets up with this Frenchman, and the Frenchman, they go into this place called the Cleft Skull Cavern. And the guy that's in charge of this like tavern is very weird, but he gives them a room. And the guy was saying some suspicious things like, nobody ever comes here more than once, like, what does that mean, dude? Do people rob this place a lot? Dude, this place get like attacked a lot? Like, what do you mean? So Kane gets the idea to barrel, there's no locks on the door, so he wants to like put a bunch of chairs and tables and stuff and put it against the door so that it's harder to open. He also carries a pistol right next to himself every time he goes to bed. But they find this hidden door, this like secret hidden door, which has like a dead skeleton body in there, chained up. Also, the Frenchman decides, oh, I'm gonna steal money from you, and puts a gun at him, steals it, and leaves. And then the owner of this place is like crazy or something. He beat up like a sorcerer at some point or another, and he's seemingly gonna kill or torture Kane. And then the guy just falls over dead because there's like bones in his neck from the skeleton that should be dead. So like magic was involved. I don't know. It's kind of a weird story, but kind of just ends. But seeing as how Solomon, for the most part, is essentially just like witnessing this events and doing absolutely nothing, I think it's kind of a whatever story. But it was interesting. We move on to the Castle of the Devil, and it seems like it's the start of a friendship, kind of like The Witcher and Moonglum. That's Elric and Moonglum, or The Witcher and Dandelion. But then the story just kind of ends. Like, they start getting along. Kane kind of describes himself and what he's all about, and says how he's trying to like this John Silent, and then they head over to this castle, and the story just ends. So, it's in a fragment. It wasn't finished, but yeah, that's about that. Death Black Riders. This was also very short. Basically, Solomon Kane is on the road with his horse, and at the other end of the road, it's like a very steep, like it's like on a mountain pass or something, so it's like very slim. And at the other end is this dark hooded figure in like a cloak with like burning red eyes, and this like, the picture in the book was like a skeleton horse. So I don't know. It charges at him, but it doesn't actually, and then it just kind of ends. Um, but it definitely gave off like Sleepy Hollow vibes, so that was kind of cool, I guess. And then we get to the title of this video, "The Moon of Skulls." Um, this felt like a Conan story inserted into a Solomon Kane story. Um, we ramp up the racism. That's shoved up. So that's always uncomfy when you deal with Robert E. Howard and that. Um, but it does have an ancient civilization, which are ancient civilizations are always fun, whether that be sci-fi or otherwise. And there's this African tribe that's um, you know inhabiting the city, but they didn't make the city. It's actually an ancient city. And one cool thing, which kind of makes this book like essential, like I would just say skip because it's pretty racist, but like it's actually like it makes a specific connection to Atlantis, which is connects to Robert E. Howard's other works like Kroll or whatever his name is, Knoll, and the Conan. Anyway, again, racism aplenty. We do have a pretty strong female character in this for the 30s. This queen lady. There's a certain part where Kane goes, I unfortunately have to do this unsavory diplomacy with the black savages. God forbid you talk first and shoot later. Because my boy, I don't even want to call him my boy right now, he most certainly wants to shoot first. So, Kane thinks he fights the devil. Pretty sure it's not the devil, so maybe a demon. I don't know. But he fights that in like the caves. And wins. Very cool. And yeah, there's this white girl that's been a slave to these people this whole time, and he's wanted to save her. So he's going to. He does get captured for a bit. While captured, he meets this old priest man that talks about this ancient Atlantis people and how they used to enslave everyone and yada yada yada. It was fine. But yeah, he saves the day, I suppose. So that's basically the story. The only other thing of note, the one really well written section of this, which I wish was actually true, because based on this story, it's not true. It'd have to be specifically white people. But he has this quote where he goes, "This explanation Kane himself believed. He never sought to analyze his motives, and he never wavered once his mind was made up. Though he always acted on impulse, he firmly believed that all his actions were governed by cold and logical reasonings. He was a man born out of his time, a strange blending of Puritan and Cavalier, with a touch of the ancient philosopher, and more than a touch of the pagan, though the last assertion would have shocked him unspeakably. An atavist of the days of blind chivalry he was, a knight errant in the somber clothes of a fanatic. A hunger in his soul drove him on, in urge to right all wrongs, protect all weaker things, avenge all crimes against right and justice. Wayward and restless as the wind, he was consistent in only one respect. He was true to his ideals of justice and right. Such was Solomon Kane." I love that. It's probably my favorite section of the entire book, and it's like a paragraph. But I wish it was true. I wish that paragraph was true. But based on that, the rest of the story, it's just not the case. Maybe if you're of light complexion. But otherwise, no. I think he meets some sort of companion later that is black, but I don't know. It was okay. It's really got a bad taste in my mouth because of that stuff, and it's very consistently in this one, so it makes it harder to enjoy. But you know, it was the 1930s, so. but overall, it was fine. Honestly, still more enjoyable than most of Conan's books. Anyway, those are my quick thoughts. Until next time.